After now being activated as an Amazon Flex driver for 5 years, I've done this in different marketplaces as well. I've seen a lot of changes. I think this is a really big question to answer for 2023. Is driving for Amazon Flex worth it? So if you didn't know, driving for Amazon Flex, there's really 3 options as a driver. There's the traditional warehouse run where you'll go to the Amazon warehouse. We have several here in Pittsburgh, and chances are you'll have more than one in your marketplace as well. So we'll get to the warehouse, we'll get assigned a route, and you don't know where you're going and how many packages you're delivering until you get that route assignment. Then you complete your assigned routes, packages and envelopes, houses, apartments, and the like. It's a 3 or 4 hour shift. And if you do have problems, if you can't deliver a package, you do have to drive back to the warehouse to return it. Then we have Whole Foods grocery runs. So as the name implies, you go to the Whole Foods, you're going to pick up, of course, someone's groceries or multiple stops as well. You load them into your vehicle and you deliver those to the customer. Now, those ones are eligible for tips. The warehouse runs are not eligible for tips. And then we have instant offers. Those are offers that are starting within the next 30 minutes, and you have to be within 15 minutes of participating locations. And it's kind of the same thing, right? We go to these locations, you do a pickup, you drop off to the customer. So as someone who's been activated for years as a Flex driver, who has done it in different marketplaces, and in this video, I researched the most up-to-date features as well. Let's try to answer this question together. I've done this stuff since 2015, working in this side hustle gig economy. Comment down below your favorite side hustle. Maybe it is Amazon Flex or something else. I'm curious to know down below. But in my opinion, I feel like Flex in all of that time hasn't made any monumental changes insofar as new features when other apps have, but these new features will absolutely help you out. Well, that's the goal, right? Absolutely help you out on the road. Let's find out what they are. So this distinction between stops and locations. So stops are when you're going to stop your vehicle, and locations are just that, locations where you're going to make the delivery. So we can see here, I'm going to stop my vehicle at this area, but actually have, let's say 4, 3, 5 deliveries. Now I like that because that means less fighting for parking. So I'll have it where I'll have the one location, usually a larger apartment complex or maybe a business park, and I park once. Then I have 2, 3, 5 deliveries. And at least in my experience, it's nothing crazy. I'm not like trying to juggle 5 massive boxes. So it's going to be a combination of smaller envelopes, smaller boxes, and maybe like a medium box. But yes, you're going to have some deliveries where it's a medium, large box combo. And you might want to invest in a rolling trolley or carts if you think this is something you're going to be doing for a while. So if so, check out our team storefront. It's linked down below so you can get some of these accessories to make these jobs easier. New update number 2 that I almost guarantee you're going to run into, and this isn't just Flex. This is just delivery apps. That's encountering dogs when trying to make your delivery. So Flex has dog reporting on your route. So what we're going to do here, you can see we're just reporting that a dog is at the delivery location, and that's going to give other delivery drivers in the future a heads up. Now, what I also like is if you click the upper right corner of your driver screen when you're making a delivery, there's a question mark, and you can text the customer a notification of your arrival, and that's going to send that confirmation to the customer, but it's also going to remind them to turn porch lights on and put pets away. Because I had a delivery where there was a large dog at the top of the stairs right at the front door of where I wanted to make my delivery. So here's the thing, don't compromise your safety. That is number 1. So I made that delivery at the bottom of the stairs, and I did text the customer like, hey, couldn't complete the delivery at the front door. Just a heads up, it's at the bottom of your stairs. Another new update for 2023, which is also something I guarantee you're going to run into if you're a Flex driver, that's time-sensitive deliveries. Like I mentioned, you don't know where you're going and how many packages, envelopes you're going to have until you get to the warehouse. That's good and bad. Obviously, it's partitioned for the, 3-4 hour shift time. But what you might not know is, yes, some of those deliveries are time sensitive. Either business hours where that business cannot accept a delivery because they're closed, obviously, or a promised delivery window to the customer. I remember delivering to a business. It was like an office park, one of those large office buildings, and there was no one there. It was after business hours. And if you cannot deliver in a safe location, you cannot make that delivery. And this was on like a major road. This is a sidewalk, but I can't just leave it in front of those doors because that business is closed. They're not going to open until whatever it is, 6, 7 a.m. the next day. So use your best judgment, but that is not a safe, secure place to deliver it. Next, some very important things to know because we're trying to answer the question, is driving for Amazon Flex worth it in 2023? So you need to know this before you start driving. So let's just consider the warehouse shift driving. So whenever you sign up for those shifts, it is really hard and fast, locked in, unlike other shifts. So once you start, you can't just stop a shift if your car is going to be loaded up with 30, 40, 45 packages. Obviously, if an emergency happens, stop doing what you're doing and deal with that later. But if you don't like your routes, you can't deny the route necessarily. If you do that at the warehouse too much, they can certainly deactivate you. Now, this next one I learned the hard way, but you can only be late by 5 minutes. And it says the app will not let you take the shift. And that's literally true. It completely drops your block and you are done. And that's going to hurt your profile. Too many of those and you can be deactivated from Flex. Another thing is you will scan your ID whenever you check into the warehouse. So if you're doing this with a spouse, what have you, make sure that driver that's getting the ID to the Flex associate at the entry gate, it has to match the account info. So regarding pay, and let's consider the warehouse runs. I feel like that's the majority of runs, closely followed by the Whole Foods runs and then the instant offers. But Amazon's going to contribute a minimum amount per hour. It's going to be between $15 and $19. So I need to ask you, is signing up for a 3 to 4 hour shift, that's usually the minimum, 3 hours for the warehouse runs, a 3-hour shift for doing 30 some packages, not knowing where you're going, is that worth what? $15, $17, $19 an hour. So here's the hack for you. As demand increases and the supply of drivers and it gets closer to that start time, if there's an imbalance, if my start time is 5 p.m., or at least the asked start time, if they need someone for a 5 to 9 p.m. shift, if no one's signing up and that shift is still sitting there and it's $20 an hour, it's most likely going to go up. So $20, $21, $22, $24, $25 an hour. I've seen probably maxing out around $25, $26 an hour. You can comment down below what the max is in your marketplace, but that is when I'd grab a Flex shift. It's the same work. It's going to be the same routes, but you'll get paid more if you sign up closer to that start time. And here's another thing that I've never really mentioned when it comes to pay and signing up for shifts. So you will 100% see shifts at the same warehouse at the same times, but different pay. Why is that? It's, let's say, the Sewickley, Pennsylvania warehouse here in Pittsburgh, and it's from that 5 to 9 p.m. One's paying like $18 an hour, another's $23, like $23.50 an hour. And you would think, well, is that a harder route? Are there more packages? Remember what I told you. When you get to that warehouse, you can get there 15 minutes early up until the start time, and they'll line you up in a grid based on who got there first. They'll just direct the traffic there. So they already have the bins lined up in the back in the warehouse ready to go, and they just pull them out to cars. They're not necessarily saying, oh, this guy is signing up for the $23 an hour shift, he gets more packages. All they really care about and what they'll ask you is, how long is your shift? Because what they have with those racks is, this is a 3-hour rack of packages. This is a 4-hour rack of packages. And you can even get lucky. Sometimes they'll be on that 3-hour shift and you'll get maybe enough packages for like a 2-hour shift. Now, keep in mind when you sign up for a 3-4 hour shift, the loading time at the warehouse is included in that. So you got to be there at 5. You're at the warehouse at 5. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're delivering, all from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. You get paid that entire amount that you signed up for if you finished early, but there's a caveat to that. You get paid that exact amount if you finish late. And that's what Amazon says. And I've had that happen myself. I had a shift where it went long and I messaged support. I said, hey, this went long. Can I get some extra pay? They say no, so keep that in mind. I don't really want you to worry about going long though. I finished early probably 60, 75% of the time when I'm driving on those warehouse runs. And the ones that are long, typically it's something with navigation where I made a mistake because these routes are optimized and the packages, it's all optimized for how long the driving should take, any commuting time to the initial zone. Because remember, you don't know where you're going until you get that QR code and that route code, but it's all timed to work within your time window. So why is that? Why is there a shift that's the same time as another one, but it's higher pay? I'm not sure. Comment down below. I'm guessing that shift slot was offered first. So maybe it's entered the bonus pay as would the other one, but it's a newer shift. So it hasn't entered that bonus pay yet. But again, comment down below. Overall verdict: is driving for Amazon Flex worth it in 2023? So 3 different things. The warehouse runs. Number 1, it's a 3 to 4 hour shift. It is going to be between 30 to 40 some packages, maybe 50. Just depends on your marketplace, of course. So at $15 to $19 an hour, that minimum contribution, I would say no, because there's other side hustles you can do that will pay, at least that, if not more. But here's the thing. It is predictable. So if you don't want to have a guessing game of I don't know how much I'm going to make on rideshare or food delivery or another side hustle, it is predictable pay. 15, 17, I don't love it. 18 and 19, at least is doable as predictable pay. And try to get that bonus pay. Obviously, we want you at $20, $24, $5 an hour. Number 2, the Whole Foods runs. Now, I have not done Whole Foods runs. Look for that here in the channel. So you're definitely going to want to subscribe. Drop a like on this video if you appreciate what we do here. But I have heard they are very lucrative. And again, you can get tips. And in my experience, grocery tipping seems to be very good. I've seen that on Shipt. I've seen it on Instacart and other apps as well. On Walmart Spark, yes. So consider those whole food runs. It's not going to be as long as the warehouse runs, and you can get those tips, which can be pretty good. And then number 3, those instant offers. Now, I've just really done those warehouse runs, but here's my take on instant offers. So you got to be within 15 minutes of the location of the pickup. That's going to vary based on marketplace, but that I would treat it like a standard side hustle. And what we teach you here, the dollars to mile ratio, how much am I getting paid for the miles driven on that assignments, and the dollars to time ratio. How much am I getting paid? How much time is it really going to take? Going there, picking it up, dropping it off, considering traffic and real world things like that. So overall, yeah, it's worth it, just not at the lower thresholds, because at the lower thresholds, I think there's better side hustles for the effort involved. And that's like the $15 to let's say $17, $18 range. But at the higher ends, I think it's worth it for the predictability, for the options of the warehouse, of the Whole Foods and the instant offers. And I do feel good, at least when I've done Flex, and this was the case when I did it in San Diego and here in Pittsburgh, that I feel good that runs are going to be pretty seamless. It's routed nicely to always keep you moving forward. No U-turns, weird stuff like that. And again, usually I can finish early as well, which is a fantastic bonus because I get that full pay. So with these new app updates for 2023 and the pay that we went over in this video, what do you think? Is it driving for Amazon Flex worth it? At what price points? And compare it to other apps. Where does it rank for you? Drop a like on this video. You can also click or tap the screen here for my newest video, as well as a video recommended for you. And I'll see you in the next one.